Sorry, the lighting's bad. Trying to fix that a little bit. I just want to take a minute then, since at least one of you needs some help with Instagram. As part of the, oh, sorry, it's loud. My kids brought friends home from school, so they're like giggling and, playing video games and stuff. Here is, okay, let me back up. I watched a video today from Kim Carver. He is the leader of training at Beachbody Corporate. He helps to coordinate the whole coaching network, and he and Carl together are doing this Success Club 135 system, and teaching us what to do and how to teach all of our other coaches how to reach Success Club every month. So one of the things that Kim Carver said this week on that group is we need to be increasing our following on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever social media platform you guys like best. I love Facebook. That is like my heart and soul. I've used it since Facebook started, but I don't use it as much for business anymore. I'm trying to wean the business a little bit off of Facebook and build on Instagram for a couple of reasons, but mostly because Instagram is where it's at right now. So I am brand new to Instagram and learning everything from the foundation up. I didn't even have an Instagram account until I became a coach. I had one for a year and then shut it down and then restarted it like a month ago. So I'm really starting from the very, very beginning. So I'm going to pass along what I'm learning as I learn it. The first thing is that social media is like a party. So you have to have fun things to post about. That's your content. It has to be valuable, but it also has to be fun and engaging, or no one wants to look at it. And we can talk about that another time. But once you have good content, once you have your account set up, then you have to get followers. And here is what Kim Carver says is the best way to start making followers on Instagram. He says, every day you post Instagram stories, and that was what Carl talked about in the team call earlier today. He talked about posting an Instagram story every day about your food, about your shake, about your exercise, about your life, and do video invites on Instagram stories. And he challenged all coaches to do that 60 days in a row, 60, nonstop, every day for 60 days, have one of each of those types of Instagram stories. And that's it. You don't have to do anything else in Instagram stories. I've also been taking those Instagram stories, or Insta stories, I should say, and moving them over to Facebook. So I'm posting less about coaching and about my challenge groups on the actual news feed, and just saving that for my life and my actual personal health and fitness journey. And I'm inviting less on my posts and doing it more in the Facebook stories. So far, that's been good, because a lot of my followers on Facebook are personal friends, family friends, not at all in my niche market for coaching. And they just want to see my kids and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to make Instagram more my business thing, and Facebook more just life related, with a little bit of coaching sprinkled in. But the Facebook stories, I am continuing to keep like the Insta stories, where it is one of these things every day: food, shake, exercise, a little bit of life, and then a video invite. Emphasis on the video invite, and having a deadline when you invite. The second thing Kim Carver says to do is to sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. My notes weren't clear. To use hashtags in your posts on Instagram. Facebook doesn't use hashtags, so I had like no idea what hashtags even were in the beginning, and I've had to sort of do some research on my own on the side to learn it. So hashtags are a way for people to find you, and a way for you to find people or stories and things like that that you can relate to. So start by writing out a list of your interests, your hobbies, things that you are passionate about. For me, it is my family, my kids, my religion, coaching, but I'm not going to use hashtags there because I don't want to attract other coaches. Psychology and like mindset stuff. Sorry, I'm not sure I was going there a minute ago. Mindset kind of things. And that kind of stuff. So I made a list on the back. This is my notes from the call, and I made a list of the things I mostly post about. So this isn't all of my interests, but this is like what the categories that I think I post most about already. So I can start adding hashtags to things that I normally do before I add new stuff, right? I don't do a lot of mindfulness stuff on social media, because I think a lot of it is like a lot of people are doing that. and I want to set myself apart. So I don't do a lot of mindfulness stuff. I do like maybe once a week I'll do something with mindfulness, some kind of, pretty quote or something. But I post a lot about my kids and silly things that they do. We do that are like part of just everyday life, about my marriage, just funny memes and cartoons. And then my hobbies are sewing and photography. That I post about regularly. So there are other things that I love too, but I don't do them very often. Like I don't go hiking very often, but I love it. And then of course nutrition, because I'm posting every day something about food. So I just made a list of those things that I love and I post about. And then my goal, according to Kim Carver, is to come up with 8 to 10 hashtags for each one of these areas. 8 to 10 for each one of these areas. So he shared a tool, and there are other tools that might be more effective. I've heard about another one, but I don't know the name of it yet. I have to go back and find it. But Kim Carver today shared this website, and I'll send the link. It's called displaypurposes.com. Displaypurposes.com. And you can go in there to the homepage, and let me go back to the homepage here so I can see, so I can guide you. So displaypurposes.com homepage. It's loading. And then there's a search function. There's like a black bar about halfway down the page, and it has some text in it, but it's actually a search bar. So click in there and put in a keyword that goes along with one of your interests. Like I put in there sew, S-E-W, and you can search. But then once you search, then you can click I want to say the button for graph. I'm still trying to load it. Okay, so I'm putting in sew in the search bar, and it's going to come up with a bunch of hashtags. And some of them are really generic, and some are in foreign languages. So I'm just going to ignore that. And once the search is done, I'm going to go up to the top of the page, and it says search, map, and graph. I'm going to click on graph, and then there's another search bar below that where you can kind of modify your search a little bit. So I'm going to put in sewing instead of sew. And it will clarify the graph a little bit and give you keywords that are like trending. So take those words, like it says sewing, quilting, sew, fabric crafting, whole bunch of foreign language, cotton, sewing projects, embroidery art, hand embroidery, sewing for kids, needlework, needles, all these ISO, pattern making, all these different keywords. And I'm just looking at the computer behind my phone. And I'm going to take those keywords and then go to my Instagram app and start putting in like hashtags that I think would be relevant. But here's the key. You don't want to just use any old hashtags. You don't want to use one that only has a few hundred public posts, because you're only going to see the same 5 or 6 people. You don't want to use one that has like millions of posts, because you'll get lost in there. And so you want to find one in this sweet spot. He says the sweet spot is a hashtag that has between 5,000 and 150,000 public posts. That means there will be a fair amount of people who are posting in there and searching that hashtag, but not too few and not too many. So I did that for all of my keywords. My keywords again were like sewing, crafting or handmade, photos of kids, humor, marriage, reality, and nutrition. And so those are the things I mostly post about. Those are my keywords. I went in and found 8 to 10, sometimes 12 hashtags for each of those keywords, each of those categories, that all fit between the 5,000 and 150,000 public posts, and then just made a list. So now what I'm going to do with my list, now that I have it on paper, I'm going to go into like the notes section of my phone or Google Keep, which is what I use for my notes, and I'm going to have a section for all these hashtags by category. So that next time I post a picture of my kids doing something funny, then I can just go to my Keep and I can highlight and copy, select it all and copy it, and then paste it onto the bottom of my picture with the description and stuff so that it'll just have all those hashtags in there and I don't have to generate them again each time that I post a picture. You can't use hashtags to my knowledge on Insta stories. So I'm not worrying about that. And you can't use hashtags yet on Facebook. They're considering it, I think, but it doesn't exist yet. So don't worry about that. You can use the same hashtags, I think, on Twitter, but they're separate, like they're not owned by the same company. And so, it might be different, variations of the same hashtags or whatever. So if you use Twitter, then let me know how it works, but I don't use Twitter. And that is my Friday training on how to do hashtags. I'm just really excited to share this because I've been struggling with hashtags for like the last month and a half since Carl started saying to use Instagram, and it's all foreign to me. It's all brand new. So as I learn more things, I will share it with you, and I hope that was helpful. And if you know any extra tips or tricks about this that I don't, please share. Okay? All right, talk to you later. Bye.